I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and you're listening to Live Without Limits, a dreams come true with the right mindset. And today's presentation is titled Self Care Plan, Why You Need One and How to Create Your Own. For one thing, one of the reasons we're talking about self care is that we often don't take time out to do things that make us feel good. Therefore, it is important to learn how you can take better care of yourself. Because many of the times, if you don't know how to take care of yourself and do the things that are important, then as you can see with the pandemic that just kind of is still lingering around, that many people who have died along the way were people who just ignored the fact that there was a real problem out there and a real health threat. So, understanding how to take care of yourself and putting yourself first sometimes is very important. Self care is simply the process of taking care of your well being. Self care is a highly recommended practice for every human and is doubly so for those who are recovering from and still facing some sort of challenges in their life. It is personal and there is no one size fits all plan for achieving it. In simple language, a self care plan is a process of writing down in your calendar the activities that would lead to a or for you to maintain a state of well being. It involves listing out routine and activities with time, stamps, and constraints. It's about planning how to go about your daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly life in the healthiest way possible. This is why time management and using something like a day timer helps you to look at your daily activities and know what you need to do and to stop wasting time on things that you don't need to do. So, think about it. What are some aspects of self care? That being said, self care is personal and so also should be the plan. Giving or going on the internet in search of a perfect self care plan can be futile, as all that can be found are generic and vague. This is because two individuals live in the same lives, or rather, no two individuals live the same life nor experience the same things in the same way. And that is because the fact that your challenges may be slightly or drastically different from that of the next person. This is because we all have different natural behavioral styles, and in those styles, we see things differently. It is essential that you know how to create a self care plan tailored specifically for your needs. To be successful at this, you need to first understand a few things. The first is that the aspects of self care that exist, basically, there are six major aspects of self care which exist in the six major life ex- okay, let me restate that because I'm not stating it right. Basically, there are six aspects of self-care which exist for the six major aspects of your life respectively. And these include, for one, Physical self-care. This encompasses all activities that keep you physically healthy and fit. Psychological self-care. These activities help improve your cognitive ability, your coordination, awareness, and openness to life experiences in general. It also keeps you clear headed and enables you to logically address complex and convoluted events that arise. So remember, we just talked about physical self care, we talked about psychological self care, and now we're talking about emotional self care. These activities help you enjoy the richness of experiences in your life head and help you heal from unsavory incidents and also create positive spaces for more enjoyment in life. Fourth, spiritual self care. These are activities that bring about a sense of meaning and purpose to one's life. They are perhaps the most personal of all self care. Now, if you think about it, Judaism is the first religion that believed in only one God. But if you look at the Native Americans, they have a spiritual being, and many of them, because they lived in the plains, they would go to the top of the mountain. And if you remember, Moses, where did he go? He went to Mount Sinai and he conversed with God. So remember that that spiritual being doesn't have to be one in one specific place. It can be any place that you're at. That's why in yoga, when you look at what they do, it's getting in touch with the inner self, but it's also a spiritual way of seeing things. Five, social self care. This involves the health of your relationships, family, friends, colleagues, and so on. And this is the thing about social self care. Many a times, relationships with friends may be far better than the ones you have with your family, especially if you come from a toxic family. That's often why sometimes the only way to care for yourself and your own mental health is to get away from your family. So, professional self care. These are activities for you to perform to better prepare you to work effectively and efficiently. It helps you stay focused and achieve more on your career path. And this is one that is really important because you have to take time to do the things that help you reach your goal within your profession and stop going in 10 different ways, but look for the things that enhance your profession. Especially like if you're in coaching, then you need to look at offering challenges because that's a way to get someone to have a taste of what you have to offer so that you can upsell them in any products that you have. So, why you need a self care plan? A self care plan is more or less an anchor that keeps you tethered to the healthy lifestyle, preventing you from spiraling into habits and episodes that may be detrimental to you. It serves to motivate and helps you keep track of your progress. It also serves as a safety net to help you even when you failed to adhere to the routines and activities stipulated in the plan. In other words, the plan should make provisions for total failure. For clarity purposes, there are major reasons that you need to create a self-care plan for yourself today. One, you know yourself better than anyone else. And this is why only you know what you need. There's no denying that everyone has different aspects of their lives that they wish to improve on. To some, it might be their physical health, while for others, it might be their emotional health. Whatever it is, you know best. If you find yourself experiencing deep emptiness, then eating more vegetables may not be the way to go. Hence, only you can create a self care plan that would accurately reflect and solve your needs. Another point to note is that in your darkest times, you are the only person who can tell for a fact what the problem is. Therefore, you are the person in the best position to make plans that can help you out in such times as this. When you create a self care plan for yourself, it also helps you narrow down your options to the best and most effective in each situation. For example, you might have beforehand decided that whenever you feel lonely, it would be best to call your mom. Or you may have plans to reach out to your therapist whenever you start feeling depressed. Without a proper self care plan, you might worry about who to reach out to when difficulties arise. Having a self care plan also helps you with accountability. It would help you stick to a course of action. Having an accountability partner is also very helpful and can be the difference between a successful self care plan and a complete disaster. How to create a self care plan. Get to know yourself before you start drafting your course of action. You first need to know what your triggers are and how you have been coping when faced with difficult situations or experiencing difficult times. We usually resort to either handling it in a healthy way or an unhealthy way. For example, after a stressful day at work, you might decide to take a long shower, meditate, and sleep. Or you might decide to drink beer or light a cigarette while binge watching Netflix with a cake, donuts, or pizzas on your plate. You need to know these behaviors as they would help you to know what aspects of your life you need to work on. Acknowledge your need. After much observation, you have to decide that you need help. You need to accept that you need to work on certain areas of your life. And then you must list out these aspects of your life. Maybe you need to work on your weight, drinking habits, relationships. Once you're clear on this, the next step is to categorize your activities. 3. Categorize your activities. When creating a self care routine, it is essential that you have a clear picture of what activities help in the diverse aspects of your life. For example, physical self care. Run or walk how many hours or amount of distance daily. Drink how many cups of water daily. Eat a balanced diet and eliminate junk food. Go to bed at a specific time to ensure that you get a sufficient amount of sleep every night. Psychological self care. Disconnect and relax how many times to how many times daily. Block out time to meditate for at least how many hours weekly. Write down your experiences and feelings in your journal or audio records. Visit the therapist when feeling disconnected. Now, here's the other thing: emotional self care. Make how many amount of time or number of friends in the next city. Get out, see a movie, visit the park, enjoy an opera, or whatever else you enjoy doing. Spend quality time with friends and family. Practice mindfulness, spiritual self care. Pause and reflect on what you are doing and why you are doing it. Walk around in nature, barefooted if you can, because when you think of the touch of your skin against the grass, you're actually feeling it, not through your shoes. Meditate or go to a place of worship, church, mosque, temple. Volunteer or donate to a cause that you respect and support. Now, the last thing is professional self care. Ask for insight, advice, and reviews from experienced colleagues. Maintain strong boundaries. Set up or visit the peer support group. Learn more about your profession, new development, and better ways of doing things. 4. Take note of potential barriers and challenges. Your plans may not always go as smoothly as you envision, and you may not be in the best position to start thinking about solutions in the heat of the moment. That is why it is crucial to prepare for them beforehand. Therefore, when your self care plan should also include provisions for when you are at your worst states, as this would help you know exactly what to do based on what has worked in the past within your self care plan. Take note of the performance. The truth is that a plan doesn't solve your problems. If anything, it only highlights them. In essence, it is only half the battle, and you would have a lot of work to do. You might find some aspects of the plan particularly challenging, especially the aspects of the plan that actively goes against your habits. That said, you need to examine your performance with time to see the aspects that you are doing well and that the aspects that you aren't doing well. Then you have to improve the activities that you're wavering on while doubling down on the activities that are working for you. The process might involve introducing or substituting old activities with new strategies and tools to help out. 6. Get an accountability partner. A very crucial part of self-care plan is sharing that plan with someone who can hold you accountable, someone who can direct, review, and assist. This could be a friend or a family member. This is why having a coach or a mentor is so important, because one of the major factors when it comes to self care is being consistent with the plan and its execution. Self care shouldn't be a measure to correct the problem, but a preventative measure. It should be a way of life that should embrace. Also, note that you can always adjust activities in the plan to suit your current situations. So ensure to remain sensitive to the changes that might occur in your life. And always remember this, that your self care is so important, and never let anyone else take away your time in taking care of yourself, because how well you live your life and how healthy you are as you age is so important in how you care for yourself throughout the years, and especially when you're young.